This One's Wife. 2025. A clusterfuck already. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Here we are, 18 days into the new year. How's your 2025 panning out? I don't really care. I just ask because it's expected of me. Sticking to the diet, continue to do the exercise. Dry January panning out okay for you, abstaining from the alcohol? Or you simply thought, gosh, it's a miserable month in the Northern Hemisphere. Short days, long nights, no money. I need nursery comforts. I need crumpets dripping with butter and lashings of marmalade. I need to go and get something chocolatey and velvety. Sometimes that's HG's voice. Other times I go to make myself a high-end luxury hot chocolate and then eat a chocolate bar as well. Bugger the diet. Well, whatever your January is doing so far, I'll wager it has not reached clusterfuck potential or status in the way that it already has for This One's Wife. We're only 18 days in, and already it can be stated that 2025 is certainly not her year. It kicked off with her actually doing something on Instagram. Hitherto, she'd hinted, future faking, at a return to Instagram, but this time finally did something. And we had the grainy video of her drawing 2025 in the sand, having done so at least once before and omitting to ensure that was removed from the final video that was posted, as we saw those oversized flapping feet and her giggling like a 12-year-old. And guess what? The Instagram video was roundly panned and ridiculed. Yes, 2025 had barely been squeezed out of the mother's womb, and already she was cocking it up. Hardly a surprise, because this narcissist never learns. We then got a further use of Instagram as we were told about the fact that her dog was dead. Rather than keep such a matter privately, the demise of the dog, precisely when that wasn't actually confirmed, but it would appear that it was a couple of months ago at least. And typical of a narcissist of her ilk, what happens is that in the moment of this day on January, her narcissism basically goes, we need to do something in order to assert control and draw fuel. What have we got in the bag? Have we got a video on the beach? Oh no, already used that. What else have we got? I know. How about we create a tribute to Guy? Well, he's been dead a couple of months. Doesn't matter. They won't realise. Patch together some footage. Hey, even include something a bit cryptic in relation to the Invisi kids. Bung it all together with some mournful music, and hey presto, everybody will be feeling sorry for her. There'll be an outpouring of sympathy and support, lots of delicious fuel, and she stays in the public eye, enabling to assert control. Do that. And thus, her narcissism takes an event that was in the past and brings it up in the now. It wasn't the case that This One's Wife, when the dog died back 2 months ago, thought, I'll put that one on ice, possibly even literally, and then I'll use that at a future point in order to elicit sympathy. No. For a narcissist of her nature, it doesn't work like that. He died, she'll have moved on from it. And it's at a future point that when she arrives in that present and needs to do something, her narcissism basically states, what have we got? What have we got that we can use in the now? Something from the future? No, future faking not applying this time. What about bringing out the past? What have we got in the past? Hang on a second. The dog died a couple of months ago. Let's bring that up. Yeah. Roll out the video, drink up the fuel, etc. Once again, of course, she was criticised for her dog ownership, question marks about her treatment of said dog. Also, that people saw through it and realised the dog had been dead for some time, and the usual ridicule associated with the publicity seeking that This One's Wife engages in, and, of course, observations about the children. So, 2 down, 2 fuck-ups already. Then came the Cookery trailer, which, of course, has sprouted much mirth, much criticism, much tone deafness allegations raised in her direction, accusations of plagiarism with regard to the Marchioness of Bath, the fact that she's cosplaying being a royal again and a trad wife, that she doesn't read the room, you name it. The criticism came thick and fast, and no more so than the comments, which were a tsunami of shit-flinging, justifiably so, in her direction, in the comments section under said video trailer on Netflix's own channel, as they clearly sought to gather evidence of her unpopularity. Third strike. Release cookery trailer. World laughs, world mocks, world ridicules, world picks apart. Then, in combination with other matters, the show gets put back. And the fact that it was easily moved, because there was virtually no promotional activity by Netflix in relation to it, because as I explained, through my contact with my PR expert, Netflix essentially hates it, the show got put back, which then led to further mirth at the misfortune of this one's wife, and also observations about an attempt to try and rejig matters in light of the overwhelming criticism that the trailer had received. Still, days into January, and it's really not going well at all. Instagram beach debacle, dead dog and Visi kids, cooking trailer, show moved back. Then it arguably took a turn for the worse with the appearance of the grief ghoul, turning up in Pasadena, not wanted, not required, and hugging anybody that was within grasp. This one's wife was labelled a disaster tourist, a trauma tourist, a victim vulture, and a grief ghoul, as social media and mainstream media went to town on her. Once again, she demonstrated that she doesn't learn from all of this. And she followed up, this time attempting to absorb, like the Borg, a red-headed girl in a parking lot at Altadena, while she showed off some bags which contained various items, the provenance of which has yet to be determined. Yes, having been criticised for turning up at Pasadena and getting in the way, and wandering around having a tour of people's burnt-down homes, even though, who are you? You are not a royal. You are not an elected individual. You do not hold a position of responsibility in relation to rescue and response efforts. You are a D-list celebrity that has turned up to milk the situation for your own worth. Despite being criticised, she then does it again because she is deaf to these criticisms. Her narcissism doesn't allow her to see it or reflect upon it. And so she goes and repeats it again, this time at Altadena, with the consequent ridicule and criticisms that flow from it. And then we have the Vanity Fair piece, which, whilst not a hit job in its entirety, does contain a number of criticisms, which I've pointed out to you in a separate video, and demonstrates again that an organ the size of Vanity Fair that once trumpeted her, once supported her, provides a balanced observation, a series of observations about her, but contains a number of criticisms which demonstrates again that this is an organisation that appears to have woken up to what she is and isn't afraid, having got the actual evidence, something that the sugars never rely upon, actual evidence of poor behaviour, and then writes about it. It's not good for this one's wife yet again. So we're just 18 days into January, and it's almost been the case that she has ensured that she's appeared in the news on 6 occasions, so once every 3 days. After all, Vanity Fair wasn't caused by her, they wrote about her, so that wouldn't count in that respect. But she posted the Instagram beach nonsense. She posted the dead dog video. She was involved in the early showing of the trailer and, of course, reference to it on Instagram and getting her various hangers-on and coterie members to talk about it. She was involved in the show being moved back. She was the one that decided to be a grief ghoul on 2 occasions. Thus, 6 instances of this one's wife inserting herself into the public consciousness, no longer seeking the privacy that she's always banged on about, 6 times in just 18 days. Is she going to be able to keep this run rate up, one wonders? Is this what we're going to be faced with? A litany of Loserville appearances until such time as the cookery show makes an appearance? Well, only time will tell. But it's safe to say, just 18 days into January, we can call 2025 a clusterfuck already for this one's wife. Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know in the comments section. Or if you think there's an alternative take, share that also. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.